Okay, we're in Shmuel Aleph, Perek Chafei, Pasuk Yud Daled. Now that David HaMelech and his soldiers they want to go and kill Novel. So now we see, we're introduced now to Novel's wife, Pasuk Yud Gimel. A few things that are important to know about Abigail before we discuss her inside. First of all, you'll see the Gemara is going to tell us that there were 8 female prophetesses, and she is listed amongst them. So that's obviously shows you that she was on some incredibly high level. And you can see a lot of contrast between her husband and her. Number 2, the Gemara says that there were 4 women who were extremely beautiful in their youth and in their older age. And one of those 4 people was Abigail. And then the Gemara goes to discuss different beauties that existed, and that some women, even if you just mentioned their name, men would get all kinds of thoughts, sensual thoughts. Yoel, if by just hearing her voice you get these thoughts, and Abigail by remembering her, just thinking about her. In other words, this is a description of the incredible beauty that she had. And this is obviously a great virtue, that a woman who has such great beauty still was able to reach a level of prophecy where she, obviously this doesn't comes from, as the Rambam says, a lot of spiritual growth has to happen within a person to develop this. So, and you'll see this figures in this story today, and part of the Nisayon that David has to go through in this story. So, I don't know how they ever got married together, Abigail and Novel, two different personalities, but that's what you have. So in Yudalid, Abigail Eishes Novel Higid Nar Echad Mehanorim Lemor, and to Abigail, the wife of Novel, one of the lads that worked for Novel, gave over to her the following message, Lemor, saying, Hinei Sholach David Malachim Mehamid Bor Levorech Es Adonenu Vayoat Bohem. Behold, David sent messengers from the desert to bless our master. Vayat Bohem. Vayat Bohem means he just scattered them away, just sent them away in a very not honorable way. Different interpretations of the word Vayat. You have the Ralbag says it's not good enough that he didn't answer them with a nice way, but he treated them like an ayat. An ayat is one of these predatory animals. It could be an eagle or one of them, and it's a bird that destroys its prey, as it's still alive. So he acted with a tremendous amount of cruelty, like the ayot. Mitzvah says it's like also like spreading around, just blowing away. No matter how you translate it, it's an unusual verb form, but they all agree it was a very not nice way that he dealt with them. Spread them away with words, etc., etc. So, in spite of the fact, as the young men are telling over here, that they're emphasizing how wrong Novel was. That's what they're trying to impart to Abigail. Obviously, they're going to want her to go and avert a potential disaster over here. That David, on the one hand, he sends messengers, which is a way of honor to Novel. He sent people to bless him, and no matter how nice he was, he just blew them off like that. Tesvav. And now he's saying further, Vanoshim, and those men who came, Tovim Lanamo, they were very good to us. V'lochlamnu, they didn't embarrass us. V'lofakatnu muma kol yemei salachnu itam b'yosenu b'chassadeh, and we didn't miss anything, as long as they were going with us in the fields. In other words, really, Novel was obliged to respond favorably to these fellows. Number one, they were good to us. They didn't make us any problems. which can often happen when you have strangers around shepherds. And also, we didn't have any damage at all, and when we didn't lose any sheep, as they elaborate on Tezayin, Choma hayu aleinu gam lailo gam yomam. They were a wall for us, a protective wall for us, also at night, also in the day. Kol yemei heyosenu imam. As long as we were with them, roim hatzom, watching the sheep, they also protected us in terms of watching the sheep. So, we owed a lot of success to these fellows. And look how Novel responded to them by just blowing them off. So therefore, Yud Zayin Vata, and now the Uri, know and see, Ma Tasi, what you should do. Ki Chol Sahara El Adonenu Val Kol Beiso Vuben Blial Medaber Elav. So now you got to do something over here to fix up the mess that he did, because certainly they felt their estimation was they didn't know what David and his men were doing. It's not they said we saw them coming, but they clearly understood what was going to happen, that David will take revenge, because the messengers will take revenge, because the ending has, so to speak, finished. In other words, the die has been cast. He's been bad to the messengers, and he's bad to David himself. Now, it's big machlokas, exactly these last couple words. What does the word mean? V'hu ben Belial medaber elav. What does it mean? Ben Belial. Ben Belial means a person who has no yoke of heaven, a person who acts in a very terrible way. So, is it referring to David or is it referring to Novel? So Malbim learns, he says, he's speaking about David, that David is a Ben Belial, he's a person without a yoke, because he rebels against the king, and that's what how Novel referred to him. And they could have said, David is not an easy character. Again, where they're getting all this from, I guess, misinterpreting the current events. The fact that Shul wants to kill him must mean he's a bad guy. That's the way they're looking at it. And they're not saying that maybe David is totally, a great guy, but most normal men are going to act, even if he would act in a way of taking revenge, and that's what they're clearly worried about, the revenge he's going to take. The Mitzudas learns about Vahu, it's referring to Novel. Novel is a Ben Belial, to speak in such a terrible way that he's such a bad guy, and he's got it coming to him. And the Radak, I think, really says it could be either one. It could be either referring to Novel. He says he was always like that to us as well. Whenever we speak to him, he treats us this way. And it also could be referring to David. So therefore, either way, maybe both, from their perspective. And surely David was not such a person, but from their perspective, they were both B'nai Belial, and therefore only bad is going to come out of this one. So Abigail hears what's going on, so she has to go into action. Yurches. Vatimaher Abigail hurries. Vatikach, and she takes and prepares a gift for David, which is made up of the following: Masayim lechem, 200 loaves of bread, Ushnaim nivle yain, and 2 big things of wine, what we call flasks of wine, V'chamesh son asuyos, 5 prepared sheep, V'chamesh se'im koli, and 5 saw of toasted grain, Umeat simukim, and 100 clusters of grapes, or dried out raisins, Umasayim dvelim, and 200 fig cakes. It was a big repast. The kitzur ma'aser, lots of food. Vatasam al chamorim, she puts it on the donkeys, ready to go. Yutes. Vatomel, she speaks to the youths, and she says, Ivrul afanai, pass before me. Hininiach areichem ba'ah, I am behind you, I'm coming behind you. Ulisha Naval, and to her husband Naval, lo higida, she didn't say what she was doing at all. Now, why would she not walk together with these men? So Mamam explains, because she's concerned if she goes with the men, there's already a big entourage, and then word's going to get out that she and the men are going to David. She doesn't want Naval to find out about it. That's what the rest of the pasuk says. So in order for him to not find out about, she sends them ahead, and just to go ahead, I guess they're going to cross paths with David, and then she will follow them. She is riding on the donkey, and she's going down in the hidden part of the mountain. David we cross, and David and his men are going down towards her, of Vatif Gosh Osam, and she eventually meets up with them. There's a big discussion exactly what the timing is over here. It doesn't really matter so much just in terms of exactly what happened. The Malbim explains there were two mountains, one opposite the other. She's going down one mountain, David's coming down another mountain, and the youths came beforehand. So David is going to meet the youths first, and then they will come to her. Now we'll see shortly why the Navi has to say she's going down the secretive part of the mountain, the hidden part of the mountain. What do we care? I mean, this is a detail that is really not much consequence, you'd think. The Matsuda says it's the valley between the two mountains, but again, it really is of no consequence to say why, exactly how she's going, unless you want to say she doesn't want people to see her, but it's not much. You'll see. We'll bring a Gemara shortly that will discuss this. So Chav Aleph. Now again, there's a question exactly who is David speaking to. The Malbim learns David is speaking as he now meets these youths of Naval, and he sees this whole. It's from the Malbim. It seems that the youths are taking the whole gift with them. Now David just sees these guys going with the food, and he thinks they're going back to their house, not going to him with a gift, clearly. So he sees these guys going with a great amount of food. The David Amar, and David says to them, Ach la sheker shamarti, but it was for falseness that I watched, as kol asher l'zabed midbar, all that was to this fellow in the desert. Lo nifkad mikol asher lo muma, nothing was missing at all. Vayoshav li ra tachas tova, and he returned to me bad instead of the good that I did for him. So David is speaking to these guys because he knew they were the shepherds, and he says, we watched everything and we didn't get anything from this. I don't know exactly if David is planning on hijacking all this food right now or not. It's not clear, but he's speaking his mind to them. But David is, in Chav Beis, telling us what he plans on doing. Ko yaseh Elokim lo oivei David v'cho Yosif imashir mikol asher lo ad or haboker mastin bekir. He gives a not exactly a curse, but he's saying, so should Hashem do to the enemies of David, like I am going to do to Naval. In other words, and so he should increase. If I leave anything from Naval by the morning, even the one who urinates by the wall. In other words, it appears that David is going to just wipe out Naval. And from the discussion, it seems he's going to do more than just wipe out Naval. He's going to do a lot more than that. And this is like an oath. Could be even an exaggerated oath, whatever. But he's definitely going to do a lot of destruction over here. Now, Mastin Bakir, as Radak brings two opinions over here. Mastin Bakir can either refer to a dog. We're going to wipe out everything, even the dogs, even the shepherd dogs who do that. Or it can also be a reference to people, men. A man, that's how he relieves himself. And he's going to wipe them all out. So again, this is where the Ralbag on this pasuk exactly says, as we already mentioned yesterday, he says, he asks, how could David want to kill Naval in his whole house? He didn't like what Shul was doing. So again, why is he doing this? And he has to say that he felt he was a morid b'malchus, since he insulted him that day. He has a punishment of death, and all that are around such a fellow that could breed such a terrible guy. And so you see that David is prepared to just not kill Naval, but if he felt it was within his obligation, again, as we said yesterday, I'm not going to go over all that he was a murderer because he deserves such a fitting punishment. He's going to wipe them all out. And he's saying, that's what Hashem should do to my enemies in the future, is what I'm going to do to Naval now.
Is he saying this to Abigail?
No, according to the Malbim, not.
To the servant.
According to other opinions, perhaps. Also, Rashi says David's saying it in his heart. It seems he's saying it in his heart. Maybe he's not saying it to them. So Michalowicz exactly who he was speaking to.
It's also interesting the tent when it says David Amar instead of Vayomer David. And the way they translate this in English is in past tense. Now David had said, like it's like he.
No, it doesn't mean anything. I don't know.
In the Tanakh, it's always Vayomer David.
Yeah. Now others learn. Who's the other one? So Metzudas, that he was when Metzudas David says when he met Abigail, he said it to his men, but clearly in her presence, hearing it. So Machlokas exactly doesn't really matter. If he already met Abigail, didn't meet Abigail, according to the Malbim, Abigail overheard everything he was saying right before she met him. She was right behind the soldiers.
It says she met him, so
it's not clear. There's big arguments here. It doesn't really matter. The fact is he said it, she heard it, and she acts on this in Pasuk Chav Gimel. Vater Abigail is David. Abigail sees David. Vatamaher, she hurries. She just heard all these words. Vater Melech Amor, she gets off her donkey. Vatipolapi David al Panel, she falls off towards the face of David on her face. Vatishtachu Oretz, and she bows down to the ground. Okay, she has to quickly move into action to avert a terrible disaster. Now, from Pasuk of Dalet all the way through Pasuk Lamed Aleph. I don't think we'll get through all that today. She now speaks to David and is going to give her plea for David not to kill Naval, and will give many, many persuasive arguments in that talk that she gives with him. Chavei. And then we'll go through it this way, and then we'll go through the Gemara that puts it on a deeper level over here, and what she's trying to convince him of. Let's see where the next Musar Nevi'im is. Okay. Pasuk Chavei. Al no yosim Adoni alibo elisha blial hazeh. Please don't, my master. Please don't put your heart. In other words, pay attention to this man that is not godly. Al novel upon novel. Ki kishmo kainhu. Just like his name, that's who he is. Novel shemo. Novel is his name. The nevola imo. And disgusting things are with him. In other words, nevola, the Metzudah says, is divrei ganai. It's disdainful words. You know, he's a novel. He's a disgusting guy. That's his name. That's what we'll call him. Again, I don't think that's what he was given the name at the bris, but he clearly is such a guy. Vani amoscha, and me, and I, your maidservant, lo ra'isi esnari adoni asher shalachta. I didn't see the youths of my master which you sent. In other words, you didn't send your guys to me. I didn't know anything about what's going on over here, and this is the first time hearing about this, and that's why I'm quickly trying to avoid everything that's going on over here. So Mama explains over here what she's meaning to say in this pasuk is for you to feel insulted. A person should only feel insulted when honorable people insult you, equal people, not from lowlifes. When a lowlife insults him, if a drunk comes out of the bar and goes to an honorable person and insults him, he doesn't take it very seriously. The guy's a rotten guy, and he's just disgusting to everybody. And that's what he's saying. Naval is so despised by all people. You think anybody likes this guy? Think he's nice to anybody? Right? That's his name. That's, in other words, by his nature and how he acts and all these things. And therefore you shouldn't feel insulted. Don't be makbid on this. And if you are upset with anybody, it should be with me. Because I am an honorable person. But you shouldn't be upset with me, because it's the first I've heard about all this. You didn't send your servants to me. You sent them to Naval. And I didn't know about it. So I'm the one who is the responsible one. And you're seeing right now that I am taking responsibility for this. um, the Medrash just adds a little bit. He says, what is Blial? Another interpretation of Blial. An ayin ra'ah, a bad eye. A bad eye. So you shouldn't learn, you don't have to, deduce a lot from his actions, because he's a guy with an evil eye, and he's not helpful to people. And and the Medrash goes on and says, Blial also means a guy who's an immoral person. Brings psukim to prove that. So you're dealing with a fellow who is immoral. He's got no virtues to him at all. So a guy like that, you shouldn't take very seriously. The Musar Navim comments a little bit more on this, and what further message she is trying to impart from this. That she's supplicating him, as we first explained, that you shouldn't feel insulted. But now he adds another important point. It's interesting. Rashi later on is going to tell us that she prophesies that he isn't going to live very long either. She's going to say later on, she in her prophetic understanding knows he's going to die shortly, and she's saying that because she knows, since he's this kind of fellow, certainly a guy like this isn't going to live very long. So he's saying, like, what do you want to kill the guy for? He's probably going to die soon, as indeed he does. Indeed, he dies 10 days later anyway. So she was a prophet, so she kind of knows he's going to die soon. Says, well, it's not worth it for you, as we see, she'll explain, for that. Now, the Musar Navim adds a very interesting idea. And what was she implying by saying all the negative things about him? So she's saying, yes, I agree that he's a bad guy, but she's now mentioning things that are between him and Hashem. He's an idol worshiper. We mentioned already yesterday, he's an idol worshiper. He's immoral. He's not a good guy. So he sins against Hashem. And she's saying to him like this: if Hashem is able to have patience with him, and Hashem should have long ago have punished this fellow, right? There's a reason for this guy to be alive. Right? I mean, he must have some kind of a purpose. Right? And if that's the case, so if that's the way Hashem acts towards him, so you should act the same way as well. Okay? So don't do anything. Hashem is being long and merciful with him, and it's obviously a reason why he is still alive. There's some purpose. So don't. Which was similar what David understood with Shul as well. So therefore, what do you want to kill him for? And the Musar Navim adds very nicely. He says, with this you can understand another thing in the Torah. You know about the case of the Ben Sora or Mora, the rebellious son, that if he transgresses things, it says, Veinenu shomea bekolenu. He doesn't listen to us. But what about if he doesn't listen to Hashem? What if he does other averes between him and Hashem? So if he does averes between him and Hashem, he is not put to death. In other words, if he just doesn't have respect to his parents, he's put to death. But if he does averes between him and Hashem, the Gemara says he's not put to death. Only he doesn't listen to our voice, he's put to death. But now if he doesn't listen to Hashem's voice. So the question is, how does that make it any better? The fact that he's also doesn't listen to you and he doesn't listen to Hashem, does that make it any better? In other words, he disrespects his parents, he does all the things that should normally have him be killed, as Ben Sora, but on top of that, he eats treif, he's immoral, he does averes between him and Hashem. We don't kill him. So he asks why. So he says, based on what he says, it makes sense. Because the parents want to do a judgment on the kid because he's not listening to their voice. So he said, listen, learn from Hashem. He's doing things against Hashem. He's not listening to Hashem's voice either. And Hashem hasn't seen fit to kill him. So you shouldn't kill him either. Because you have to show a certain amount of patience. If Hashem is showing patience to the guy, you have to show patience. All right, I don't know if I would necessarily agree with his interpretation.
Any punishment ever.
Again, these are unusual situations. It's not a classic case where a guy, there's two witnesses and this and that and all these things. A classic case of two witnesses, the Ben Sora case, if you think about it, goes against all judicial law. Why? You only can kill a guy if you have testimony, right? Who's testifying against the Ben Sora? His parents. Relatives are not witnesses. Since when can relatives be witnesses? I mean, no one ever asked the question. two parents come to court law, they cannot testify against their child. Finished. So you see, the whole law, and the whole law of Ben Sarmor is a unique law. It's a very unique law, punishing for the future. So, I don't want to get into it right now. But once it doesn't fit the regular laws of jurisprudence, then you can make all kinds of exceptions. So therefore, obviously, he should never have been killed anyway. It's only because Hashem wants him to get killed to go different than the regular laws of Jewish law. So Hashem can say, it's already an exception, I'll make another exception. And I want people to realize, and probably has a lot to do with child rearing. Remember, the whole parsha is only a lesson in child rearing. Remember, many opinions say the story never happened to Ben Sarmor. So it's a good rules of child rearing. If you see, your kid's bad, you want to punish him, you see Hashem's got a lot of mercy on your kid. Kids done a lot of times parents get upset at the child and they want to discipline the child because the child it takes away from their honor. And a lot of times the reasons why the parents want to punish is not necessarily in the best interest of the kid, but to let off their anger they have to the kid. The kid is treating them disrespectfully. So the message to the parents is, listen, if he's treating Hashem disrespectfully, Hashem's got patience, you could have patience too. And that is a message for parents. They ought to know this all the time. Children will have many children go through many periods of life where they totally don't respect their parents. You want to give up on your kids, throw them out of the house and just get out of here. Can't take them anymore. The answer is, you know what? They're not only doing Averis to you, they're probably doing Averis to Hashem. Hashem doesn't throw them out of the house. She can't throw them out of the house. So that's why you could say that by the Ben Sarmor, because it's an exceptional situation as it is to begin with. Similarly over here, David's ability to kill him, the whole idea of killing a Morid B'Malchus, a fellow who rebels against the king, that again doesn't follow the standard laws of jurisprudence. This can happen even without witnesses. If the guy just speaks to the king, there are no witnesses to the king, so I'm just going to kill him. It's discretionary powers of a king. So discretionary powers of a king. So she's saying, you think you're a king, so your king should act like Hashem. And Hashem suffered long and hard from this novel for many years before you came along. You had suffered one indignation through him. You're going to kill him already? So, why don't you take it easy? That's what she's saying. Hashem has had patience with him. You could have patience with him. And if you have any problems, okay, the problems are with me. I understand. But I didn't know about it till now. And she's going to say in a minute, and look, I'll give you this gift, I'll give you this food. It's not worth it for you to do this. Kapav. So now she's going to give further reasons why. She's going to give him in this pasuk 3 reasons why he should not be taking revenge. V'atadoni, and now my master. It's going to be in this pasuk and in the next pasuk why he shouldn't take revenge. Chai Hashem v'chei nafshecha, by the life of Hashem and by your life, asher mino'acha Hashem mibo b'damim, that Hashem has held you back from bringing out blood, coming to bloods. There's a plural mention over here that the Gemara is going to pick up. And to stop you from saving your hand from yourself. In other words, the fact it's fortuitous that Hashem had me find out about this, and that I'm coming here before you would have done what you did. Thank God. Thank God this happened. And they should be, your enemies should be like Novel, and those that seek bad to my master. And this is her prophecy, that she's saying, my son's going to die anyway, and all your enemies should suffer what Novel is going to do. Hashem's going to take care of him anyway, so don't worry about it. And so she says, so there's 3 reasons why you might feel that he deserves to be killed. Number 1, you probably feel that he is a Morid B'Malchus. He is rebelled against the king. Number 2, you figure you got to take care of him because maybe others are going to think to do like him. They're going to say, oh, this guy insulted David. Others you think Novel's going to tell all his friends, David came, you know what I did to him? I just threw him out, I tossed him out, I gave everything. Can you imagine what he's going to say at this party? Think he's going to say at this party now?
Yeah.
He's drinking up at his party. He says, chutz for that David. He tells it to all his people, then all the shepherds talk to their shepherds, and blah, blah, blah. Before you know it, everybody thinks they can treat David this way. And number 3, that he thought maybe he could take things forcefully, which should belong to him, as he should have had, as we mentioned yesterday, that he's done something and he deserves to get payment, and he should do something forcefully. So to all these things she has responses, and she says, first of all, number one, thank God that he held you back from spilling blood, because the fact of the matter is, as much as you feel he did something wrong to you, and maybe yes he did, and maybe he was a morid b'malchus to you, but still the nature of your kingship has not really spread out to the whole world yet. The whole Jewish people do not recognize you as a king. Yes, maybe people in Yehuda want to treat you like a king, and yes, maybe words leaking out that you were anointed, but it's just not out there in the public, as it were, because after all, Shaul is still the king, right? Now, and people aren't getting it, they don't understand. Is Shaul the king? Is Shaul not the king? He's still the king. David, we heard, he's the king, he's anointed, this and that, but maybe it starts later, whatever. They're not clear about this. So therefore, if you're going to kill him, it will be perceived as you went and killed a person, cold-blooded murder, with no ample reason, right? And that's not going to do you in good stead. It's not going to do you in good stead, as she'll explain later on. And even if you feel that he deserves to get killed, right? But it's not fitting that you should be the one that you should be the one to take revenge. Let somebody else take revenge. And it's the Hashgach of Hashem that I kept you back from this murder. But rather, leave it to Hashem. And if you're worried about, other people are going to think to do what they're going to do, so you don't have to worry about it, because all your enemies should be like Novel. Because you're going to see Novel's not going to have the ability to do nothing to you. I'm not going like the Malbim on this point. I'm just taking a little bit different than the Malbim, as the Chazal say, that as she's prophesizing, he's going to die anyway. Very soon he's going to die. So what do you got to kill him for? Doesn't make sense. And people aren't going to spread the word. He's going to tell everybody, what he did to David, then they're going to find a couple days later he's dead. And we're going to see what it is. Hashem kills him. Hashem kills him. We're going to learn. You start talking Lashon about David, you end up dead a few days later. Not a good idea. You're going to remember, when is Novel having this big party? It's on Rosh Hashanah. It's mamish. If the sharing it was Erev Rosh Hashanah, his feast is a Rosh Hashanah meal. Mi'yachya mi'yamus, right? And Novel, you're going to see. Novel gets drunk at the party. It's a drunken party on Rosh Hashanah. You can see what kind of guy this is, right? So Hashem will take care of him. So don't worry. You think people are going to follow this guy? He's going to be gone. He died 10 days later on Yom Kippur. Right? So you don't have to worry about this. And number 3, you didn't get paid back, so now we got a pasuk of Zion. Now, habracha azos, this blessing, asher hevi shivchas ladi, that your maidservant has brought to my master. Here it is. This is all for you. All the stuff you saw. V'nitna l'nar, I gave it to the lads, hamisalchim baragli adonai, that are going by the feet of my master. In other words, I gave it to them, and you're getting paid right back now. So what's the problem? You have everything you need, and everything's going to be fine. Let me just see. So let's take a look at what the Gemara in Brachos has to say about all this. What's going on over here? There's a lot beneath the surface. Now, some of it might be going into the next psukim as well, but we can go on and on. We have to find a place to put this in. So, one second. The Gemara is in Megillah, Yudalad Amud Beis.
So
it's starting Yudalad Amud Aleph, really.
She was a prophetess.
She was.
Yeah.
The Gemara is going to now prove. Gemara goes through the 8 prophetesses and proves how each one was a prophet. So they bring Abigail, and they bring the pasuk that we just said. It says, she's riding on the donkey and coming down on the hidden part of the mountain. So Gemara asks, why do you have to say from the hidden part of the mountain? Just say, Mina Harmi Bailate. She's just say from the mountain. So the Gemara answers, Al Iske Dom Haba Minasasorim. She came, this unusual expression indicates that Abigail's meeting involved blood that comes from hidden parts. She came down from the hidden part of the mountain, meaning to say she was involved, she was going to come down with an argument of areas that are regarding a woman from her hidden part. In other words, she had some bleeding, female bleeding. So Natla Dam Barasalo. She took a Badika cloth. Remember, David HaMelech, Gemara tells us, was aside being a warrior, he was a great Talmud Chacham, and he paskin shilas. So she took her bedika cloth to him and asked him to rule, the blood you see over here, is it one of the 5 shades of blood, of color, that make a woman tummy or not? She says, well, I want to show you my bedika cloth. So he says, Amrullah, he says, V'chimarim dam b'layla. He says, you know a rabbi can't check a bedika cloth at night. You have to do it in the daytime. Or nowadays we have lights, but this was dark. He says, Mamish, Rosh Hashanah night. It's interesting, right? You don't find David in Shul. Right? It's Erev Rosh Hashanah. He figures he has to do vengeance. Very interesting. Anyway, I don't see anybody talk about that, but that's interesting. So he says, you think you show bedika cloths at night? I mean, I'll check it tomorrow morning. I can't show it now.
He's here with 400 of his...
Right, so what about it?
She's going to just show him...
No, she's saying, I have a bedika shayla to ask you. That's all. She might be talking, I don't know if he's right in front of the 400 men. He could be a little bit ahead of them. Yeah. She spoke softly to them. I don't know, it's not publicizing it to them. Right? So he said, I can't check it, it's in the nighttime. Amr lo, she said to him, so do you judge capital cases at night? The Jewish court doesn't judge capital cases at night. And he was acting like a court, as we said yesterday, to which he answers, right, Rabbi Michalowicz, he's a rebel against the crown. He doesn't get a normal capital case. It doesn't work with the rules of normal jurisprudence. They have to check at night. So what she said, Amr Allah, she said, Adayin Shol Kaim, Shol still alive, and your eminence has not spread abroad. So then right, there's no that. So now it's a little later psukim. Amr Allah, so at the end he answers her, and we'll read it. He says, Ubarach tamacha ubrucha at asher kilisani hayom hazemi bo b'damim. He was very impressed by her and says, blessed is your reasoning, and blessed be you who's prevented me from coming to bloods. Coming to bloods. So the Gemara says, Damim tarti mashma. Bloods implies 2 kinds of bloods. Right? So what are these 2 bloods that are going on over? We understand one blood, right, that would have killed Nabal. Okay, so you help me back from shedding bloods. And again, that's what she said it already in this pasuk, right? She already said it in pasuk.
Don't spill bloods.
Where was that? I read it. Well, whatever.
26.
It's 26. He'll say it as well. I don't know why the Gemara acknowledges that he agrees this. So Gemara trying to figure out what's the 2 bloods over here. Now the Gemara adds a new thing. Gemara says like this: El Malamid Shegilsa Shoika. The pasuk's telling us that Abigail revealed her leg, v'holach la'ora gimel parsos, and he traveled with a burning desire for her for 3 parsos. In other words, the Meforshim explained not that she was being purposely unsneous, but it could be when she was traveling down the mountain and it was dark. When you're traversing rugged terrain, she wasn't exactly prepared for going on the mountain, and she probably wasn't dressed for hiking. So as she was going down quickly down the mountain, and it's dark at night, right? So maybe she wasn't careful about sneas to the utmost. So maybe some of her leg got exposed as she was, rushing down the mountain. And it's dark anyway, no one's seeing. So the Meforshim say, so the Yetzer Hara came along, similarly to the story of Bathsheba, and kind of whatever, either made the moon shine on her just at that point, and David from a distance, and the Yetzer Hara gave David extra ability to see, and for a moment David saw her in a not sneous way. And we know David was a very passionate person, and the Yetzer Hara infused David with a tremendous Yetzer Hara for her. And as he was going 3 parsas, he had a burning desire for her. He wanted her. Again, we can't look at it on a simple, gross level. It could be there's a number of things he saw about her, and there's a lot of mystical ways of being able to learn this. A shok is a leg. And that can be a reference to the midah that refers to the leg, which is one of the legs of spirituality is hod, which is splendor, which is the midah of art, which is the midah of anava, of humility. Could be he saw wonderful characteristics in her. I'm not saying he didn't see anything physically. Remember, she was physically attractive, but also spiritually attractive in many ways. Whatever the Chazal are telling us, because we can't say that David himself is just a lecherous person, although on the other hand as well, we don't know exactly how much time, but he's been separated from his wife for quite a long time. And a man who's separated from his wife, there is a concept, soldiers are soldiers. And he's been on the run, and he's been treated like a dog. When David says you're going after a dog, he was mamish, he's running for his life. And he's been treated like a dog. And in spite of all that, and now a big Yetzer Hara is coming, so there's a lot of factors involved over here. Number one, he's been on the run. He's starving. Nobody's treating him properly, right? He finally goes to Novel, does Novel a favor. Novel treats him with disrespect. And he really feels he deserves to be killed. And really, David, from almost every perspective, was correct. Now he sees this beautiful woman coming along, and now he's got a Yetzer Hara for this woman. So Hashem is throwing the Yetzer Hara everything he can at David HaMelech at this point in time. When you get upset and angry, you start doing things that are not necessarily reasonable, but in your eyes are very reasonable. So when he sees her, so he says to her, Amar lo hashmini li. He says to her, listen to me. And which implies to say, I really want to marry you. I want to be with you. Now, obviously, at the appropriate time. Not right now. He feels, I'll kill Naval, and then I'm going to marry you. Amar lo, she says, Lo tia zos l'chot lepuka. She was going to say, Larry, this should not be a stumbling block for you. This shouldn't be a stumbling block. This implies, but maybe something else will. Jewish Chazal says there was another stumbling block, and this is the proof that she was a prophet. What? The story of Bathsheba. That later on, he finds Bathsheba and he acts inappropriately with Bathsheba. So therefore, she says, don't let this also be a stumbling block for you. That you went and took me at a time when you shouldn't have taken me, as opposed to you did a problem with Bathsheba. So that was the proof that she was a prophetess and how she handled with him. In other words, David was prepared to want to be with her and to kill. If you look at the parallels to this story and the story with Uriah and Bathsheba later on, they're incredible parallels. Because he was a terrible guy, he acted terribly, and by right, what did Shaul want to do? He sees, and I guess he knows that she's his wife. Wow, she's a wonderful woman, she's a tzaddikas, she's beautiful, she's this, she's everything. He's a rotten bum, he deserves to be killed, so I'm going to do right here and now, I'm going to kill her, I'm going to kill him, and then I'll marry her. So she's saying, you don't want this also to be on your record. She sees in the future he's going to do something that maybe according to the letter of the law was correct, but according to the spirit of the law was not correct. And she says, you want this also? And then she's going to say, later on you're going to be king. What happens when you're king? Then people bring back all the stuff in your past. He says, right now you're upset. Right now you want to do something. Are you sure you want this to be on your record? You might be legally right, but you don't want people to have this on your record, And you want this also to be a negative mark on you? Because I see in the future there's going to be another negative mark on you. So we'll see, this amongst other arguments is what keeps David away from killing Naval, and we'll continue with this tomorrow.